Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today I have a brand new guest for you, Sri Ramnik Mann, and he is an independent political analyst and he has an engineering and a management background. If you have been watching Hindi videos such as Jaipur Dialogue, he's a regular there. He's joining us for the first time. Let's give him a grand PGurus welcome. Ramnik ji, Sat Sri Akal, Ram Ram. How are you, sir?
Sat Sri Akal, Jairam ji ki, Namaste Jain. I'm well, thank you.
So, Ramnik ji, whether we agree, admit or not, the way things are going in India's politics is that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party is going to be around for a while. As we see the senior leadership slowly fade away, you have only one man standing. I'm looking 5-10 years down the road, and I only see one man standing. Whatever be the faults or merits of this personal party and the candidate. First off, see, Aam Aadmi Party coming to power in Punjab is more of a test of this party because Delhi was not considered to be a full-fledged state because they didn't have a few things under their control, whatever you want to say. So Aam Aadmi Party has now been in power in Punjab for several months now. I don't know if it's more than a year. What is the performance of this party thus far, sir?
Well, I'll begin with the first question first. See, sir, Iyer sir, what happens really here is that the Congress party and the BJP, I'll say Congress for the most part, has been consolidating its energies and strength in the old guard, in the old leadership, in the coterie itself. So they did not have a very strong second line and third line of leadership. So as their front line or first line of leadership perishes, they don't have anybody else to take over the baton and move forward. That is one. So in the case of the Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal is a solo fighter, I tell you. So they have been garnering vote in Delhi, MCD, Delhi Assembly elections and in Punjab elections or anywhere else for that matter, whether it's the Uttarakhand campaign, whether it is the Gujarat campaign, even, the UP campaign. The first time Arvind fought an election for the Lok Sabha was against Narendra Modi himself. So he pitted himself against the highest man in the country possible in 2014. And therefore, he got a lot of cameras and eyes on him. Now, their campaign strategy or their way of working is spending a lot of money on media and advertisements, whether it's the mainstream media, social media, even applications, mobile games or some. You will find their ads running. So they would keep knocking back at you. There are times when you say that out of sight and out of mind, and when you are always on site, you are always in mind. So that is
Yes,
their
yes.
primary strategy that they work on. So whether you like it or not, but they're spending immense amount of money in their own publicity. They want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be shown, they want to be talked about. And Arvind loves controversies, and he'll make controversial statements. He will retract from them. He will apologize for it. He has faced several defamation cases. Well, that is again his style of politics, and people, whether the opposition. When I say opposition, I mean opposition of the Aam Aadmi Party. They like it or not, but people have been connecting with them over these days. Now, second, when you say what has happened in Punjab over the last several months, that's about from let's say March 10th, the date election result date till now. So approximately 10 months. So Punjab has had a very, very, let's say, a roller coaster ride. They haven't been able to deliver on their promises to begin with, whether it was 1,000 rupees for every, adult lady above the age of 18, or it was the OPS, which they actually, tried to sell in Gujarat and Himachal. So I'll tell you, their way of working is they would make an announcement, they would commit to the people that we are bringing back the old pension scheme, and they will publicize about it in every possible newspaper on the face of this earth. At times I feel Arvind would eventually land up contesting for mayor of New York, or he would probably run. Yeah, I mean that's the way. What is the point getting these advertisements in, or very large pieces in these American newspapers? It's just about trying to build an image for himself, and he's positioning himself as a larger national leader in India. And very rightly so, because the Congress has been giving away space to him almost as per a design or as per a plan, it seems that they want to perish as a party. So they haven't been contesting. See, the latest example is that the state unit president of Delhi Congress did not know whether his vote is existing or not. So I mean, this is the level of their seriousness when it comes to politics. On the other hand, coming back to Punjab, law and order has been a massive, massive situation. See, we have had several target killings. Not a day goes by when you don't have a killing, dacoity, let's say a suicide, or a death related to drug abuse or consumption of drug. So that is one. See, second is, uh, even the Punjab and Haryana High Court has observed that the illegal mining has gone a little too far, because there was a railway bridge collapse near Pathankot, and there are affidavits both from the army and the BSF that the excavations, that the digging, the mining digging, the excavations have come too close to comfort to the border outposts and border pickets and the second line of defense and first line of defense, very, very close to the international border. We are a little behind the international border, where we have our this fence. So right up to the fence, they have been excavating very deep. So I don't know if this by a design or it's greed, lust for money or power. It's time will tell and investigation will tell. But yes, uh, Punjab has had a very, very troubled time, and people are tired now, really.
Very sad to know, sir. As a chief minister, Bhagwant Singh Mann, this is the first time he has been, given an office. He was, I think, a stand-up comedian, if I remember correctly. How has the transition been, sir?
So, have you heard of the old, little saying which goes by like this? Elect a clown and expect a circus.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah. So, I mean, we are witnessing a circus. I'll tell you how. Is because the recent, very recent example is the false news, a confirmation by the chief minister himself about the arrest of Goldie Broad. Goldie Broad is the accused in Sidhu Moosewala's murder. So that, with all pomp and show and everything, the chief minister came forward. I'll take you back chronologically
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
slowly.
Please do, please do. I have
So
some
yeah,
updates
so
also. Go ahead. Yeah,
yeah. So I don't know if you have one. Please let me know. ठीक
yeah,
है
yeah.
जी. So the second was that when Bhagwant Mann had asked the farmers not to block roads. The farmers had blocked Chandigarh Patiala highway, so they asked farmers not to block roads, and instead they could come and agitate, and they could protest in front of my own home, as in Bhagwant Mann, the chief minister's own home, or the residences, official residences of ministers of his cabinet. So when farmers gathered and started protesting in front of his house in Sangrur, we all have witnessed that brutal lathi charge that had happened on, I think, on the first, I believe, that the date was first. Anyway, so another case was that of a lathi charge on villagers and farmers in Anandpur Sahib when they were protesting against illegal mining in their village. Poke lanes, JCBs, dumpers, excavators, they tried to stop them, and at the behest of the mining minister Harjot Bens, FIR was lodged against the farmers who were severely injured in the police lathi charge, and the sections mentioned were that of extortion and prevention of corruption act. So PC act is an act which cannot be invoked upon a civilian. It is for a government employee. Anyway, the third is 1158 assistant professors of Punjab have been demanding regularization of their jobs as promised by both Bhagwant and Arvind. So they, again, the same minister, Harjot Benzi, is this higher education minister. They were protesting in front of his house, and young Sikh boys, their turbans were taken off, young girls, their clothes were torn off, and there was a brutal lathi charge on these assistant professors, these teachers. Well, Bhagwant had called a female teacher his sister, who was on top of a water tank, and he promised. And the same girl had went back on the water tank, protesting against the non-fulfillment of the promises made by the chief minister and Arvind. So in a statement or in a press conference, in a reply to a question, Bhagwant said कि ये सब भाड़े के टट्टू हैं, as in they have been bought by the opposition to oppose him. So a girl can be his sister one day and she can be a bhadi ka tattu the other day. So I mean, There have been issues with inconsistency and corruption. Well, uh, there are several examples. I can only quote a few because the list is going to be very long. There was a road widening in Ropar district, and there were very mature, very old, and very large eucalyptus trees. सफेदा ही पेड़ कहते हैं जी पंजाबी च पढ़ो सफेदा. Those trees were cut down, sold off, no tendering. Nobody knows where the money is gone. The mining is such that the High Court has to take cognizance and observation. It has never happened in the past, but the army and the BSF had to file an affidavit in the High Court. Well, they promised 9 rupees a cubic foot of sand. It sells at 50 rupees today. I've been a buyer myself. So I know what the rates running are. I mean, there are promises which were not kept. So there is some, why would I say some, but there is a very deep regret in the minds of people who have elected. Yes, there are people who are still siding with Bhagwant and the Aam Aadmi Party, hopeful that they will live up to their expectations. But I think, they're living in a fool's paradise. It's not going to happen because if they were to deliver, any government which comes into power, it shows its action mode in the initial 1 year, and then they tend to really relax for the next 2 years, and then they again start picking up speed in their working for the last 2 years, and the last final year of the governance is actually when they start to bring out what they've done in the previous years. But here there's an example of two ministers. I'll tell you, when we talk about corruption, Arvind came into the fore in public life as a crusader against corruption. Well, there is example of uh, uh, this minister. His name is Fauja Singh Sarari. Fauja Singh Sarari's his audio with his OSD had gone viral. That same Lal Kapoor has gone viral, where they are discussing how to extort money from the transporters who are responsible for shifting grain from one godown to the other. There was no case filed against the minister or the minister's OSD, and it's all in the open. It's all in the public. On the other hand, they have filed a case against these transporters and they've implicated them in false cases. This is about one minister. The other minister, Vijay Singla, he was the health minister. He was sacked, FIR filed, arrested, sent to jail on the pretext that Bhagwant has accessed a audio recording where he and his OSD is seeking 1% commission from a certain supplier. He's asking for a certain advance. That audio never came to public, and now a senior IAP, a senior IS is being forced to compel the family to withdraw their complaint, and the complainant has to file affidavit saying that he is not in a sound mental health. I mean, there are all pushes and pulls, all sorts of what do we say, pressures on the media. They've bought media. There is very little independent journalism left in Punjab. There is this girl by the name Arushi Saraswat. So, I mean, she's the one who's mostly managing the media, and there are others. I can name a few more, but that doesn't make much of a difference because the media is really, really tightened. The nuts and the screws are very tight right now. I can't hear you. You're mute, sir.
Sorry about that. I hope the BJP rank and file in Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, and MCD Delhi, they were listening to some of the interviews that Ramnik ji was giving, because his observations have been around for 3-4 weeks now, and if they did a good job getting it across to the public in Delhi, maybe they may have a little bit better results. Because today what I'm hearing is MCD may not go Delhi way. So anyway, there is always this thing that every party needs to take advantage of the other party's weaknesses. In your opinion, Ramnik ji, since you are close to Delhi, how do you think the BJP campaign has been in Delhi?
Pathetic. Pathetic. You want to elaborate?
Yeah. Go ahead. I have no side, sir. I am like you, independent.
So I'll tell you how it is. See, any election campaign has to be designed, planned, and executed. I think the execution part where they had involved their top leadership was all right, but the planning, the basic planning, was not correct. As a matter of fact, they have always fallen in the trap of the Aam Aadmi Party. The Aam Aadmi Party would come up with something, let's say the Operation Lotus. You know, it was a complete farce. I mean, there was no truth in it. I have examined the FIR which was filed at Roper police station, Roopnagar police station. So let's keep the formal name forward. So there was no mention of the phone number from which they received the call. There was no mention of what the amount offered was. I mean, there was, yes, the mention was there, but it was very conflicting because there was a different amount which was referred to by the minister during the press conference, the press brief, and there was a different amount which was mentioned in the FIR. Now, interestingly, the Aam Aadmi Party has always, put this message across to people when somebody tries to buy your vote, take money from them. When somebody offers you money, take it. When somebody asks for a bribe, record his, make a video while you are giving money to him, and we will handle. I mean, this is something they are preaching to the public. But why haven't their own MLAs understood that, Arvind desires that you take that 15, 20, 100 crore rupees, whatever, 25 crore rupees, which is being offered to you, and you make a video of it, and then you come back and display that money in the public so that a proper case can be made out. So Operation Lotus was something, Black Lotus was something. It was basically a fringe of, imagination of campaign designers of Aam Aadmi Party, or Arvind probably himself, because he is a person who would observe, who would give a go-ahead for everything. So BJP has fallen the trap again in Delhi MCD elections. I don't think BJP is going to make a cut in there. But again, since anti-defection law does not apply, and we have a record of disgruntled Aam Aadmi Party public representatives in Punjab in the previous 5 years, where about 75 to 80% of their MLAs had left the party and joined the Congress. So, I mean, if BJP touches 95 or 100, I can tell you that they will have a mayor a BJP mayor. Because similar happened in Chandigarh. Aam Aadmi came out to be the single largest party, and by cross voting, you have a BJP mayor in Chandigarh today. So, I mean, things can be very interesting in politics. But the campaign design, I personally feel, was not very good. And you don't have to fall for the trap every time. It is like, the mouse smelling the cheese and getting into a trap. It's very, very classical, You just fall for it.
Ramnik ji, do you think that perhaps the Delhi BJP unit had a sense of entitlement?
No. The Delhi BJP unit is, I don't want to be too harsh, but they don't have a leader. They don't have a leader who's accepted by the masses. You see, Delhi used to have people like Madan Lal Khurana, people like Sahib Singh Burma, people like Sushma Swaraj. So they were all accepted as leaders in Delhi, and there was an era of BJP. It was completely dominated by BJP, the Delhi politics. And then there was a shift in that era, and Sheila Dikshit came into power, and she was there for 15 years. Rajni Abhi, who was the last mayor of Delhi, or the combined MCD of Delhi, she was congratulated by Sheila Dikshit when she became a mayor. So then, she did not want to have a strong opposition within the Congress party. So she trifurcated the MCD, saying that it is too large to manage. But she wanted to, step forward and push a few leaders like Ram Babu Sharma and like Jagdish Taitla back, like Makan, on the back foot. So, I mean, eventually what had happened is that, Congress party is literally finished in Delhi. So they have nothing in the Vidhan Sabha, and they have literally nothing in the MCD elections. This time around, they're going to lose even badly because they had 22 representatives last time, and they would have probably 3 to 5 this time, as per the exit polls. So yes, it is of course advantage Aam Aadmi Party, because they have designed a good campaign and they have executed it well. And I mean, yes, I mean, you must grant them that much. They are good at it.
Ramnik ji, when Aam Aadmi Party burst into the scene, many called it as Congress's B team. Now, 9 years later, they have made a mark for themselves. I mean, I have been myself proved wrong, sir. I wrote a book called The Rise and Fall of AAP. And right now, I am like, oh, what do I do? Do I have a sequel saying Rise and Fall and Re-emergence of AAP? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is your thoughts, whether this is a B team of Congress or where is the funding coming from? It's known that the funding is coming from other countries, and yet, with all the laws in place, these people seem to be still making money, sir.
Well, as far as money is concerned, money is not a problem for Aam Aadmi Party anymore, because they have Punjab now. The Punjab government's advertisement budget has risen tenfold, from about 70 crores to about 700 crores. So they have a lot of money up their sleeve. And then there is this Punch Media. There is a government organization which gets a 10% cut from every advertisement that goes out. And then again, I mean, there are certain ways of getting money back from the advertisers. When you pay them exorbitantly high prices and you pay them on a very, very regular basis, you get about 20 to 30% back from the advertiser. You get your money back from them. It's like a money back sort of a thing. If I give you an advertisement worth 1,000 crores, let's say, so I'll take 30% back from you. It's about 300 crores. That's a lot of money. So 700 crores is something the Punjab government is spending as of today. So that is one. The other is they have Delhi, they have Punjab, and then they have the entire mining mafia, the transport mafia, the liquor mafia, the cable mafia. They have everything now under their hands. So money is no longer a problem for Aam Aadmi Party. Yes, of course. When you say that there is a lot of foreign funding, correct. There is lot of foreign funding which is coming. And it is not just coming for political reasons. It's also coming for changing of demography of this country. You can see a very clear shift, you know. See, Punjab used to be Sikh dominated. It still is, but it marginally so. At a point in time, Punjab used to have 67, 68% Sikh population, which was dropped down to 56, and now it's about 52%. So, I mean, it's not just the political shift, but it's also the demographic change which is affecting. And eventually, India being a liberal political democracy, you would see political implications of both political funding, radicalization, and that of the demographic changes. So all these put together puts Aam Aadmi Party in a very good position when it comes to, seeking votes. There will always be anti-incumbency. See, if the BJP gets about, let's say, 37, 38% vote nationally, and it forms a government at the center, when we talk about the popular vote still is against the BJP. Let's say 60% plus people have voted against the BJP. So there is always a space for opposition, and if Aam Aadmi Party is able to consolidate that opposition vote in their favor, which they did in Punjab, which they're doing in Delhi, so I mean they would eventually replace Congress Party as the principal opposition party. So I feel that in probably next elections 2024, you just might have opposition which is very different from today.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how I started out this whole conversation, saying that these people are here to stay. Now, I think we have a few questions to take. Ramnikji, with your permission, we can start taking the questions.
Please, sir.
Secularism ka security guard. What about the water crisis with reducing water table levels?
See, I'll tell you, there is a statement by Punjab's Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann in Lok Sabha in November 2019, I believe, where he says that we extract about 9.34 billion cubic meters of water from land. His exact phrase was that water equivalent to 9 Gobind Sagar dams is extracted from the heart of this land. which amounts to 84.15 billion cubic meter. This is Aam Aadmi, 21st of November 2019. This is Bhagwant Mann's own statement. Now he's the chief minister. He has seen one season, two. This is probably the third season of sowing as him being the chief minister. So, what has he done to conserve water? What has he done to avoid this contamination of water, which causes cancer in the entire Maza belt? So, he's done very little. And well, when in opposition, you make a lot of sweeping statements, you make a lot of allegations, you make a lot of statements which to woo the public and people with you. But when you are in power, what you do is what matters. Whether his own statement was in Lok Sabha on the same day that we have Dussehra, 20 days later we have Diwali, and 20 days later we have Parali. So they have been completely they have been a complete failure as far as controlling the burning of Parali is concerned. So they filed cases against farmers. They've taken the cases back. They've lathi charged the farmers. They've lathi charged the employees. Their focus is probably only on getting a national status for their party and probably win a few seats and become a national party and then take things head on. I clearly see that they don't have focus on either conservation of water or social welfare or change in administrative reforms. Their only focus is to get more numbers and to create an anarchy. That's what I feel, sir.
Ramnik, just a follow-up question on that question. Punjab is 5 rivers. Even assume that 3 rivers are flowing through what is now Punjab. Where is all the water going, sir? It's all snow melt, isn't it?
Eventually, yes, the water, there is a riparian system. A lot of water goes to Pakistan. A lot of water comes into Punjab from Pakistan. So, but we must also admit there is a reduction in the flow of water from previous years. When there is a deficit of rainfall, again, the water levels are low. But we should also not forget that we have been exploiting and abusing underground water. There used to be a canal system, there used to be an irrigation system which was very robust in place. But now, even the farmers are more inclined on pumping water out from land, from below the earth, than using the canal waters. So there is a massive abuse because Punjab, naturally speaking, climatically speaking, is not a state where you can sow rice, chonna, keh lo tusi udu,
Yes,
ya
yes.
chawal keh lo aap. It's not a state where which has ideal conditions for paddy, but a lot of paddy is sown and cultivated in Punjab, which is again abuse of water. I mean, crop cultivation, good MSPs, good robust purchase system, involvement of the private sector, and demand-based agriculture is something that we need today. We don't sow oil-based crops which consume little water and are very, very high paying when it comes to the market rates. We keep sowing a certain crop pattern and we have abundance of stocks of, let's say, wheat grain and paddy, but we are compelled to import edible oil from Indonesia and other countries. So that is our problem primarily. So that is why the government has tried to bring in biofuel, ethanol, and others, so that we can cut down on our oil imports. So similarly, we farmers should come forward and we should make sure that we support the nation. I'm not saying the government. We support the nation by cultivating those crops which would help reduce our import bill and help improve our foreign receives. So these are the few things, and also we have a responsibility towards the environment. So these are the things, because what legacy we leave for our children is very important today. If we manage things better today, we'll have a better tomorrow for our own children.
Absolutely, sir. Couldn't agree with you more on that. So let's go on to the next question. Viewers, we cannot take any more questions. We have about a fair amount to work through. So please stop sending your questions. We will have Ramnik ji back again when his time permits, and we will continue this conversation. As you can see, he has given a very fresh perspective on a state that perhaps PGurus has been guilty of not covering before. I hope to rectify that. Next question from Mahendra. Pranam, gentlemen. How has coming of AAP in Punjab affected drug smuggling, weapons trade, etc. from across the border? Is there some kind of complicity of AAP with Pakistan?
Mahinder, what is more troubling than just drugs and weapons is the radicalization and the normalization of this radicalization in the society. The normalization of murders, extortion, ransom money, it is berserk. And the kind of divide they are allowing people to create amongst the communities, you will very soon see clashes and conflicts between communities. And we are very, very close to a point where things may actually get out of hands. The law and order is in a very poor state. And when you ask what is the effect of drugs, it's gone bad. It's terrible. I mean, you have Swiggy, you have Zomato, and you have other home delivery. I mean, you have delivery of drugs at your doorstep.
Yes, yes.
You can
The
order
easy
and you can get it at home. It's just as
yeah.
simple as that. Well, as far as weapons are concerned, see, Punjab is a state which has always faced the adverse enemies coming from the west and the northwest. So there is a culture of protectivism, and there is a culture of machoism. There is a culture where you display, you brandish, and you possess weapons. So yes, this is another thing which is problematic. But there's a lot of arms dropping happening from across the border via drones. Those arm droppings, drug droppings, or cash droppings, there are people who actually pick them up. They have handlers here. Sorry, they have handlers across the border, and they have their mules here. So there, the problem is very, very, very tight. And well, when it comes to complicity, yes, I would say complicit. Yes, Punjab government, Aam Aadmi Party, when I say particularly Aam Aadmi Party, is complicit, and they are guilty of being complicit with a lot of anti-nationals, which include, certain from Pakistan, because the ISI's brainchild of K2, which is Kashmir and Khalistan, they have shut their shop in Kashmir, and they are now focusing on Punjab to create a Khalistan. And over the last 8-10 months, I would say since March, not even May, Aam Aadmi Party came into power in May. So since March, there have been attempts of normalizing the separatist movement. There are efforts of normalizing the discussions on these subjects, and it's all started. The trigger point was the farmers' agitation. That was the breeding ground where what you see today, or God forbid, what you will see in the days and time to come in future, it all started from there. And yes, they are complicit. They get money via the Middle East. The money is, they get a lot of money from there, and we all know what the money traces are. And I am sure the people who are responsible for protecting this country externally and internally, they are very well aware of how they have been complicit with PFI, how PFI is complicit with Turkey, and they have Pakistani links, how they have handlers across the border, how they get instructions on what campaign to create, what language to speak, and how to raise an army itself. See, PFI was very well on the path of raising an army. So they have had marches and everything. So, I mean, yes, they are complicit.
Well, very, very sad. Next question, Divyanshu Mehta wants to know, how is the already tottering PSEB going to survive the free electricity scheme of AAP? Have they increased rates for the industry?
See, PSEB is a thing of the past because, yes, okay, you've corrected
Yeah.
yourself. PSPCL. So, yes, so the thing is, eventually the debt is public debt. What you give free to one man comes out from the pocket of another. So Punjab already is under a debt of about 3.5 lakh crores, which is increased to about 4 lakh crores, and there is another $150 million they've taken from the World Bank for improvement of infrastructure in urban areas, in urban local bodies. So Punjab essentially is close to about 420 lakh crores debt, and repayment of interest on loans. I'm not even talking about the principal. Interest of loan is a problem. Paying their employees their salaries on time is a problem. So these are all very important and very sensitive issues. Freebies are going to ruin any country, any state. So Punjab can be no exception. One has
Next
to
question
pay.
was,
I am
yeah,
with you. This light is on. I'm using power.
yeah,
I'll have to pay for it. How
yes,
can it be
yes.
free? And if it's, there's never a free lunch, there's never a free dinner. You're always paying for it one way or the other. And in Punjab, you are paying for it by your lives.
Divyanshu is back again. He says, what is BJP doing in Punjab? The latest appointments in Punjab have been people from the Congress who have come to BJP. How do you see this?
See, first things first. BJP in Punjab, when they were when they were in a coalition, or when they were in an understanding with the Akali Dal, Shiromani Akali Dal Badal. So I would call that BJP has actually come into existence only during this election. I'll be very honest with you. It was not Bharatiya Janata Party; it was Badal Janata Party. So this is probably the first time, and I think Ashwani Sharma's term is still remaining. So he has reshuffled his own team. It's not a fresh team altogether. The captain of the ship is still the same, and this is the same captain who's lost a lot of elections. And I'm sorry, it's a very clear thing, but the captain does not know how to speak chaste Punjabi. He has
Hmm.
more of a Pahadi, Dogri, Hindi dialect. So people don't associate with the captain. I'm talking about
Very, very
Ashwani
important,
Sharma,
Sarji.
the president of
Ra-
the party. I'm talking about not Captain Amrinder Singh. I'm talking about the captain of the ship, as in the president of BJP Punjab. So he's made a few points, but it's basically coterie readjusted. Probably the same set of people with different designations this time around. Yes, there have been few inductions from people who come from Congress. Of course, you will have to adjust people. And Fateh Jang Bajwa is a leader. And then they've gotten Captain Amrinder Singh, who's now in the main body of the BJP, as in the executive committee of the BJP. Then they have Jaivir Shergill coming as the national spokesperson. So those appointments have actually, the last ones I've mentioned, come from the center, which make a lot of sense. But I think all is not well in Punjab BJP. You have to have majority of Sikh representation, people coming from a rural background, people who can actually interact with people in the way and manner they understand. So I think they are probably on a path of correction, because a major factor in time to come will be the appointment of Iqbal Singh Lalpura as the chairperson of National Commission of Minorities. He has been a career IPS officer, and he knows Punjab better than anybody else in the BJP. So that is clearly one very wise and good decision they have taken. And if it translates into giving correct tickets in the 24 election, and if he contributes well, I think things should improve for the BJP in days and times to come. With a good leadership in Punjab, things can actually turn around, because as of today, we are going ahead in a direction which was very similar to the kind of vacuum, the political vacuum which was created by the Congress. The people were not willing to accept the Congress, not the Akali Dal, and then they overwhelmingly voted in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party.
Ramnik ji, the last person to speak about Punjab on PGurus channel was Iqbal Singh ji. And it was
Oh,
very, very impressive, very
oh,
articulate.
he is.
Yeah. 2 साल पहले की बात है, but I'm sorry, I somehow missed dropped the ball on him. Sarji, if you are watching this, please reach out to me. I'm sure you have my number. I know where I got your number from, so I'll try and connect with you. Next question, please. VSS, what is and could be the power dynamics between SGPC and the actual Punjab governments now? If in future BJP forms a government in Punjab, what happens?
Okay. So, see, the Panthik vote bank, which is, let's say the Sikh vote bank, the Panthik vote bank has, traditionally aligned with the Shiromani Akali Dal Badal because of their link and because of their affiliation and association with the SGPC, which is the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. So, Prakash Singh Badal and his party, his political party, have used SGPC to their advantage to consolidate the Panthik vote in their favor. And while the other parties, they were demonizing the BJP and the RSS as somebody who would want to cull and finish the Sikhs in Punjab, whereas the Congress party is to be blamed for the genocide of Sikhs in 1984. And somehow, we have been gullible enough to choose Congress party 3 to 4 times after the 1984 program, or the 1984 uh, you know Nasal Kushi, we call it. So, I mean, that is one thing, but SGPC and the current government are at loggerheads because SGPC is completely pro Akali Dal. As a matter of fact, Bibi Jagir Kaur, who contested for president this time against 𝙤𝙬𝙤𝙀𝘀, she was president of SGPC, and then she became a MLA, and then she became a minister in the Akali Dal government. She was also secretary of SGPC. So they have an inter-cadre, they have the same cadre essentially. I mean, by inter-cadre, they have the same cadre. So whether it is politics or it is otherwise, SGPC is primarily aligned with the Shiromani Akali Dal Badal, and they have reduced the Sikh institution to a level where I am sorry to say, but it appears to be an employee of the Shiromani Akali Dal or an employee of Prakash Singh Badal himself. So, I mean, there have been problems, but they don't have any dynamics here.
Thank you, sir. Chaitanya Takli wants to know, why do people vote for Khalistan sympathizers like Simranjeet Singh Mann?
Because they don't have anybody else to vote for. The vacuum is such that the people outrightly rejected the Congress party and the BJP. So the options left were Akali Dal and Aam Aadmi Party. So people have rejected all. See, basically, Badals have been rejected by people of Punjab. Both Prakash Singh Badal, his son Sukhbir Singh Badal, his Sukhbir Singh's cousin Manpreet Badal of the Congress, all Badals have lost the election. So the option was between a third or a fourth party or fourth person or the Aam Aadmi Party. So Sangrur constituency, Parliament, Sangrur Lok Sabha is Bhagwant's own constituency. And that's where people have voted for similar. I mean, no matter how slim the winning margin is, how thin the winning margin is, he still won. And it is reflective of how people have taken or how people have, replied to the Aam Aadmi Party after their thumping win in the Vidhan Sabha elections. So that is actually a reply to Bhagwant, and it's got less to do with sympathizing with Khalistan. But yes, this thought has increased over the past few months.
Next question, please. This is the last question, viewers. Mr. Lee wants to know, would the AAP in Punjab support legalization of drugs so as to gain some revenue
That
from
cannot happen. That cannot happen constitutionally. There's a central government, there is the governor, and there's all sorts of checks and balances. That can never happen. You can't go against the Constitution, CRPC, and IPC.
Thank you so much, Ramnik ji. I must finish this with this. Punjab was the most prosperous state when I visited in the 70s. I was a kid, but I was going by train.
We're still very, we are still very rich in culture, rich at heart. We are very warm. But yes, I mean, politicians have really let Punjabis down. They've really let us.
Sir, to just give you an idea of measures, हमारी दूध की साउथ में ना इसके आधा, this is the cup of milk. Okay, that used to be the cup of milk. In you had this milk bars in Punjab, itni badi, double size. That is your smallest milk size, and it's so cheap and so rich. हमारे पास पानी में milk मिलाया जाता था south में. I was like, oh my goodness, this place is like land of honey and milk, and it pains my heart to see.
It still is. It still is. Milk, lassi, makhan, dudh, ghee, malai, very, very rich. Still is. I mean, don't see governance and analysis of a government's functioning is one, and the society is another. The society is still very rich culturally. The society is still very warm, welcoming, and open-hearted. It is again the politicians who have damaged the image of Punjab, who have brought Punjab down from number 1 to number 14 or number 15 now, perhaps. But I must again mention to you, sir, you come back to Punjab and you will feel the same charm. The people are still the same. It is just that there is more of let's say disgruntlement with the way governments have functioned, and all promises, I would say false promises, were made to correct what wrong had been happening over these years, and they have actually doubled the wrong. That is where it pains. People are still warm, sir. You're most welcome. Come anytime. Be my guest.
Absolutely. I came in 2019, sometime I think in October, November time frame. I went to two places, Sarji, because of my romanticism. Chandi Mandir and there's a Chandi Mandir, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Run
that's
by
Chandigarh. They are adjoining, yeah.
Chandigarh. And I also went to Pinjore Gardens. Pinjore Gardens is a pale shadow of what it was.
Pinjore Gardens, sir, Pinjore and Chandi Mandir both are in Haryana. Chandi Mandir.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, I must have come back to Haryana.
Chandi Mandir is a military cantonment, which is a part of Haryana. It's Panchkula district. Pinjore, close to Kalka, again close to the Himachal border, Parwanu, is a part of Haryana. Chandigarh is again a UT. Punjab, when you get out of UT, Chandigarh, that is where Punjab begins. Zirakpur, Rajpura, Derabasi, Ropar, these, Karali, Karan Marinda, very progressive areas, very, very densely populated nowadays. And I get, be my guest, I'll get you the best of.
Oh, yeah. Another everlasting memory. There's a dhaba, and on the main road, Bunty Shanti the Punjabi dhaba. I mean, you cannot forget this name.
I haven't been.
Thank you so much,
Ramnik. There is
Pramada
dhaba in Amritsar. There is Kesar dhaba in Amritsar. There is Haveli in Jalandhar. There are a lot of good eating joints or good dhabas. 5-star dhabas now, perhaps. But I haven't heard of this Bunty Shanti the dhaba.
Ramnik ji, you know where Punjabi dhabas are very popular? In Andhra Pradesh. In Telangana area, that is like the go-to place. If you want to really eat proper North Indian food, you go to a Punjabi dhaba.
I was traveling from Tirumala to Chennai, and I come across a Punjabi dhaba. It was not Punjabi, I can assure you.
No, not that side. I'm talking closer to Hyderabad. When you go through Telangana, right, there is still a fair amount of Mughlai influence. One thing that you mentioned that I have to touch upon, you said that a leader needs to be able to speak in the language that the local populace understands. This is the calling card of KCR, Chandrasekhar Rao in Telangana. जो तेलंगाना की तेलुगु होती है ना, उसमें मराठी है, उर्दू है, थोड़ी सी तमिल भी आती है, because the cantonment used to be from Madras. That's what the British brought. तो ये सब मिलाकर एक गुड़ बनता है. Yeah. So that's how he speaks. That's why he's able to connect with the masses. Thank you so much, Ramnik ji. This was a wonderful, wonderful experience listening to you. And we'll be back again with your time permitting very soon again, especially after these elections. We can analyze a little bit on how things are going. Thank you very much, sir. Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal.
Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Jai Hind ji.
Jai Hind.